Cutting some trees with the old 562 that I ported myself. It's got a 30 thou pop up in it, muffler mod, and the exhaust is about 101, 102. Intake's at about 80, and the transfers are raised up as much as I raised the exhaust. I kind of blind ported it because I done one before, so kind of knew what I'd done. But anyway, cut these trees this morning. I don't know, been here maybe about an hour and a half, and done got them all topped, and I've only run through about 2 tanks of fuel in that 562. That's why I like it, because it's nimble. Of course, I was cutting with the Buxton ported 572, and it's a great running saw, very powerful. But the problem is, well, there ain't really a problem with it, but it's a little heavier. So what I lose and what little bit of power stepping down the saw, I make up and being able to move a little faster. Also, if you don't think the hinge wood and soft Dutchmens help control a tree directionally, fellet, I'm not saying they work every time, depending on how bad the tree's leaning out and everything, but they do help, and anybody that says otherwise just don't know how to use them correctly. They don't have the knowledge of the physics of trees, because I've heard a lot of big YouTubers say, you can't, the shark gill or the triple hinge or the Dutchmens or the scissor wheels and things like that does not help, but they do. Both of these trees here that I cut was leaning straight out there, and I got them to go this way by using a Dutchman and cutting that wood off and letting that tree sit down and swing on around this way. Because when the momentum of the tree gets going, it sits down and kind of falls forward because you've got that 1/4 inch or 3/8 curve or whatever. And it gives that tree just enough sit down and swing to swing on in. And that, if you got good wood, like this is hickory, so it's stringy. See, I'm pulling fibers. Red oak sometimes is a little tricky depending on where it's growing. If it's out in the woods like this, it breaks off pretty easy. Like this is a poplar. I done a little bit, got it to sit down, and it come on through. So yeah, it's they work. You just gotta know how to use them and understand them. You can't cut, you can't cut backwards and expect it to work like some of the big YouTubers do, and that's why they only use wedges and put traditional face cuts in, because they want to cut that leaning away from the leaning side first, and it just screws you all up. But if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not saying they're wrong. It just is. It's not the only way to cut trees. Anyway, we'll catch y'all later. I'm gonna get to cutting some. I ain't videoed a lot, just due to the fact that I've been trying to get after it, and we'll do some comparisons with this 562. I've got a video of it stock. Now that I've got it ported, I will do some comparisons. I don't know how much faster it'll be. I've got the 562 Mark II coming from Buxton. And that thing's making like 7.5 horse and 4.78 or 88 foot-pounds of torque. So it's right there with a 372, or more than a 372. And right there about with what most people get out of a ported 462 or 372 on just a simple wood sport. So it's nice to step down to a saw this size because it's so nimble. Run a 2-foot bar on it, and if you got your chain set right, then you do whatever. But see what I'm talking about with this red oak? It's not that stringy. It just breaks off, especially this time of year, because it's full of sap and full of water. I cut one way up the hill there, and that thing, the Dutchman didn't work. So anyway, it kind of broke off. But here it worked somewhat. I had a little post here, but I cut most of that wood off. So anyway, we'll catch y'all later. I just wanted to touch base with y'all. I'm going to top this tree and top that hickory, top this red oak and top that hickory down there, and then we're going to get to cutting a few more. See y'all later.